Welcome back, and thank you for sticking with us here on Winning on Taxes. Again, very important show today on how to still address these issues facing people. Again, the IRS is the largest collection agency in the world. It's the biggest bureaucracy. And a lot of people are really concerned of how will these layoffs, IRS layoffs, affect me personally. So number one thing, you have to understand the process and what are we concerned about. So the three questions we had, or three issues we're going to address is one, will I get my refunds on time? Number two, will I be able to call the IRS and get answers on my case? And number three, a lot of people have been asking, do I even have to pay the IRS now that they're cutting it back? So I'm going to answer number three real quick. Yes, you have to pay your taxes. Don't listen to those scams. There's a lot of confusion out there. And then really to get to number one, I'm going to give you my favorite attorney answer. It depends. Will you be able to get your refund? It depends on how you file your taxes. And that really comes down to two things. First of all, how are you going to file it? You need to file it electronically, and it's all automated. It's all done by computer. So if it's submitted electronically, it'll go into the IRS computer system. It'll get processed, and as long as there aren't any hiccups, your refund should be issued fairly quickly, just like normal. But you can only file the last 3 years electronically. So how do you avoid hiccups? Because that's what causes people that file electronically to get their return rejected. When their returns are rejected, then they have to go back and file a paper return. You can try to refile it, but again, if they tell you, look, there's something wrong here, you have to get it fixed and file a paper return. If you have to file a paper return, currently the IRS is taking roughly 6 months to process paper returns, especially older ones. With the layoffs, it could be much longer, 9 months or more, before your return gets fully processed and you get a refund. Will you get interest for the time you've been sitting there waiting on your refund? Yes, but if you need that money now, that doesn't really help you out. So I really want to focus on how to make sure your return, one, gets filed electronically, and two, gets filed correctly so it doesn't get kicked back. If you have a very complicated return, you might have to do a paper filing. You might have to do it out to an extension. But again, making sure you can file all kinds of returns, most returns electronically. You just have to make sure everything's done correctly. So number one thing that causes returns to be rejected, claiming credits you're not eligible for. So if someone claims one of your dependents and you're not eligible for their earned income credit, if someone tells you to claim, a lot of people will claim other credits that CPAs will put on there, just trying to goose the returning, make it look like they did a better job by getting them a better refund. That often can blow back in someone's face. And don't trust the 2-year guarantees, because a lot of these issues pop up after 2 years if they actually take and process your return. So be wary of these short-term promises. Be wary of a CPA that comes out and promises you the sun and stars. Have them sit down and explain it to you. You should be understand what's on your return, because ultimately the IRS is not going to go after the CPA. You might be able to go after them for messing up your return, but the IRS is going to come after you. So again, it's so important to make sure that when you submit that return, it's accurate, that you're claiming the right credits, the right dependents, and that you have the right income on it. So if you don't have all your W-2s or 1099s by April 15th, don't file. Do an extension. That is the perfect time to do an extension. After May, you can either go online or you can call the IRS or get a professional to help pull all of your wage and income information from the IRS. And you also can get that information from the states once it's reported to them. You can make sure that all your information is accurate on your tax return. And when you sit down and go over it with your CPA, they should be able to lay it all out for you. But most CPAs are like, hey, if you give me garbage in, garbage out, it's not my fault. If they don't know, it is so important to give them full information. There's income hanging out there, especially that, any income should be reported to the IRS. But if it's going to be on a 1099 or W-2, you have to make sure it's on that, because it's very easy. If it's capital gains, anything like that, it's going to be reported. So make sure that you have that information, that everything is up to date before you submit your return. And you sit down and go over your CPA and have it explained to you. If your CPA won't explain to you, or your tax preparer won't, get a different one. We have many excellent ones that we can refer you to. Again, call us if you have any questions, and we're going to take another quick break here.